The Saints are drafting who? We're going to find out in today's video because Mykel Williams spoke to media, and it is draft day, so we're going to tell you the final draft targets that I expect the New Orleans Saints could potentially draft today at number 9 overall. Really quick, I want to encourage you to subscribe for our draft coverage. Going to be live here on Saints Now by Chat Sports at 6 p.m. Central Time. Me and my guy, producer Loco Lopez, going to be giving you all the great Saints content by fans for fans. So be sure to subscribe, join our live content, and it's draft day, Who Dat Nation. Let's ride. So the New Orleans Saints, as of right now, they hold the 9th overall selection, and they have a grand total of 9 picks throughout the 2025 NFL Draft. 6 of those are in the top 150, so they have prime opportunities to add really good talent to a roster, which quite frankly has a lot of holes. They have a bunch of needs. Quarterback is one because Derek Carr, we don't know if he's going to play this year. You have Spencer Rattler, but there's question marks around him, and Jake Hader as well. But running back behind Alvin Kamara is a big-time need. Wide receiver is a need, but you have a specific need at wide receiver. The offensive line, the defensive line, linebacker, safety, cornerback, pretty much anything outside of special teams, you need some help. And Mykel Williams, he did leak some intel about what the New Orleans Saints draft strategy is. He believes that their philosophy, and Kellen Moore's philosophy, is that you build from the inside out, meaning the trenches is where things start. So I expect the New Orleans Saints to address the trenches. Although it may not be the sexy pick, it's the necessary pick once again for the black and gold. And right now, according to Fanduel, the number 9 overall pick odds, Mykel Williams, the edge rusher out of Georgia, is the leading guy in the betting odds for the number 9 overall pick, which is where the Saints have their selection. The guard out of Alabama, Tyler Booker, Tyler Warren, Jaxson Dart, and Mason Graham. I'm telling you right now, if Mason Graham is available at 9 overall, you sprint, and I mean Usain Bolt, elbows to ears, sprint to the stage with that name, Mason Graham, on the draft card. And look, Mykel Williams also did add this intel as well. They're going to draft 9 players. You have 9 total picks. So it sounds like they are not really in the market of trading some of these picks. We'll have to see if that happens. It doesn't mean that they don't like the guys that they have if they take specific players. And I'll just go ahead and say this. I don't think the Saints are taking up quarterback at number 9 overall. It just doesn't make sense. I know that Shedeur Sanders is a really intriguing option. I know that Jaxson Dart is a player that you might have to go and reach on, but I don't think that the Saints are going to ultimately take a quarterback with the number 9 overall selection. Mykel Williams and Kellen Moore believe it starts in the trenches, and Kellen Moore just won a Super Bowl with the team that has built in the trenches, and they found a lot of success doing that. It's important to build the trenches. It's important to invest in the offensive line, but it's more importantly to hit. So all I'm asking is if you do it again, just please, please, please be sure that this is a great pick for years and years to come. So let's talk about offensive linemen first. Will Campbell is my number 1 option. I would absolutely love if he was the selection for the Saints. I just don't see a world where he drops out of the top 5. Armand Membou is another name to keep an eye out on. Josh Connerly Jr., Kelvin Banks, Josh Simmons are other offensive tackles to keep an eye out for. I'll also throw an honorable mention, Gray Zabel, but ultimately I think Josh Connerly Jr. is going to be the New Orleans Saints selection. He's going to be, played all of his most of his reps, pretty much all of his reps, at the left tackle position. 6'4", 313 pounds, 965 snaps last year. He turns 22 in November, and he's a 2-year starter who has shown some growth at the left tackle position. Fluid mover and really good athlete. He allows him to recover if he gives up ground, which at the NFL, I think that the talent level is going to be much higher than he did facing Oregon, or that he faced when he was at Oregon. He does have some play strength issues. However, he did have a really good showing against Abdul Carter. He had some really good numbers there. And then on top of that, 6 of his 9 pressures this past year came from Ohio State. So, I mean, all of those most of those came in one game. I mean, I'll just say this right now. I'm really excited about this player as a potential offensive line. I just don't know at 9 overall if that makes total sense. I think he can be a good player. He has some good traits. He has some good qualities. And I'll also say this. He is going to need some development there. However, like I said, he's going to be turning 22 in November. And I do want to kick it to Dane Brugler, what he had to say in terms of scouting report for him. He is a really well-respected draft analyst, and I think that he has some really good good thoughts. Connerly must continue refining his hands and core strength, but he is on the right trajectory and enters the NFL with a promising foundation based on athletic movements and body control. Currently a bend, don't break blocker, he has the talent to become a solid starter early in his NFL career. And look, I've seen Ross Jackson, I've seen Nick Underhill, I've seen a lot of NFL and Saints insiders specifically mention that Josh Connerly is a name to keep your eye out on. I also think that Kelvin Banks, I think whoever that top offensive tackle available is going to be the pick at number 9. Again, I don't love that selection, but I get it. I would really rather just go with the playmaker, like a skill position player or somebody on the defensive line, but I also understand why the Saints would address offensive tackle in round 1. Now, what position do you want to see them address in round 1? Today? Get down in the comment section, share your thoughts, and if you know ball, I want you to prove it down in the comment section. Now, next, we're going to take a look at the defensive line because I think that's also a big-time position of need for New Orleans. Mike Green, James Pearce Jr., Mykel Williams, Mason Graham, and Walter Nolen are players that I am all really, really excited about. Although I think the defensive interior is something to definitely address. If Mason Graham is there, you got to take him. I'm just going to say that. But I do believe he will not be available for the Saints today. So Mykel Williams, I think, is the player that is more likely. I mean, we saw that FanDuel thinks that the number 1 pick, the most likely option, the highest odds are Mykel Williams. He doesn't turn 21 until June, which is pretty interesting. Played plenty of 5-tech and profiles as a based end. He has high-quality run-stopping abilities, and he has great power, and he has a strong bull rush. And I do think that the Saints struggled in the run-stopping department last year, and he can be a player that can offer a lot in terms of that role. And he has a really good physical skill set, similar to Trayvon Walker. He is a high-quality run stopper. He has length, size, room to add more weight, the athletic ability. He has everything you want, you name it. The bull rush and the long arm are very quality. He has great power. He did have an ankle injury. It might be something that could impact him, and he was dealing with an ankle injury. However, he does have a lot of burst. And look, I can tell you right now, I would be okay with this selection. I just want to see if it is an edge rusher, it's the best available edge rusher. Whether that's James Pearce Jr., whether that's Mike Green. Like I personally think Mike Green is higher on the board for me, but I also understand that a run stopper is very, very important, and Mykel Williams offers the ability to not just be productive against the pass, but also be as a good run stopper. Here's what Dane Brugler had to say. He's more toolsy and nuanced and needs to develop a more unified pass rush plan. The individual traits, promising toughness, and football character, however, are reasons to bet on his upside. Similar in ways to Jason Pierre-Paul, he projects as an NFL starter on the edge. Now look, the Saints definitely have a need at the edge rusher position. I'll say the offensive line, I think, is a little bit, more justified to go because you got to protect your quarterback. And you do have Chase Young, and you do have Carl Granderson. You just need to get more out of them. And quite frankly, you need to just get younger and more juice out of the defensive line. And if they can start making good production, then you're in a lot better position than you thought you would have been in. So I'll say this, in terms of offensive or defensive line, I'm kind of just go back and forth. I'm pretty sure I've gone back and forth already in this video. I honestly just would rather go with one of these targets. Like, I understand the importance of the trenches, but one of these guys would be so much more appealing. And look, the Saints have picked an offensive or defensive lineman every single year in the first round since 2018, with the exception of Chris Olave, which, by the way, they still drafted Trevor Penning in round 1. Like, I would be totally okay with going the best player available in round 1 on offense. I'm okay with that. Whether it's Ashton Jeanty, whether it's Tyler Warren, whether it's Tet McMillan, whoever falls, whoever's the best available option, I'm okay with. Now, of course, Colston, Loveland, and Omarion Hampton aren't the best options at their respective positions, but they're still very quality players that I think could have a good impact in Kellen Moore's offense. And look, I do also want to say this. I don't know if wide receiver is going to be the pick. I think offensive lineman is the selection, and we do know this because we are now talking about it. The 5th-year option for Chris Olave has been picked up. However, they are not exercising the 5th-year option for Trevor Penning. So to me, that says we really like Chris Olave. We still have questions about Trevor Penning. We want to see what Trevor Penning can do. And Mickey Loomis even said, that doesn't mean we dislike Trevor Penning. We want to just see more from him. And so that makes sense to me. I think this is 100% justified to do this. I just think that it's offensive line first. Again, I would love Tet McMillan. I would love Tyler Warren. Those are my favorite options. However, I just think it makes way more sense to go with one of those instead. Now, really quick, before we keep this thing rocking and rolling, we're going to give a quick shout out to today's presenting sponsor, and that is Game Time. And guys, the Major League Baseball season is finally here. We are in full swing. You like the pun? And it's time to get tickets to your favorite baseball team. Whether you're in Louisiana, whether you're in Texas, whether you're in any state, you can get tickets to any sporting event, any concert, any comedy show, any live event in your area with the Game Time app. Game Time specializes in last-minute deals, and you can save up to 60% when buying last-minute tickets for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. They also highlight super deals. These are the tickets that are the best value for events. So if you're looking to get tickets to any of these Saints games coming up, we don't have the schedule, but we have tickets available. You can take advantage of some super deals for some big-time home games this year. Falcons at Saints is always a fun one. You can also check out tickets for Arkansas versus LSU here in Baton Rouge. That's going to be a really fun matchup. And then Jazz Fest is this weekend as well, so be sure to get tickets if you're interested in any of those events, not just in the Gulf Coast region, but in your area. Game Time also has cool features like all-in pricing, seat views, the lowest price guarantee, and the Game Time ticket coverage, which is second to none across the ticketing industry. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the whole wide world. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, but once again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS. That's code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. All that information is in the comments and description. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Now the Saints obviously could go defense here as well. And I think that it would make a lot of sense to address a defensive player. And Jihaad, Campbell, Jahdae Baron, Malaki Starks, Will Johnson, Jalon Walker, for the record, I would be happy with any of these players because you need depth at all three levels. And I also think that the Saints defense just needs to be upgraded, quite frankly. You have a new coach in Brandon Staley. You have a new scheme that you're implementing. And so you need guys that are proven athletes, that are proven football players, that know how to play at a very high level and can do it for years to come. So quite frankly, any of those top draft targets at the defensive position, D-line, cornerback, linebacker, safety, I really don't care. I think it makes a lot of sense, and I would love to see the New Orleans Saints address the defense early. And quite frankly, just my final thoughts. Look, I'm nervous. I'm really nervous because I don't want an offensive lineman, although I understand it. But I'm also really excited because it is a new era of Saints football, and two things can be true. I can be really pumped up for the possibility of the future, but I am nervous that we may have a bad draft class, and we've had a handful of bad ones over the past few years, and so until proven otherwise, I'm still going to be nervous about it. And it's draft day. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to think. I don't know where we're going to go. Just you cannot afford to have another bad draft class. That is the one thing you cannot afford to do. Don't reach on players. Don't take projects. Get guys who are proven athletes, who are good football players that are going to help you win today, because that's how you're operating in win now mode. And although you don't have a quarterback and you don't have a clear path there, at least you can build around something for the future and maybe get your quarterback later on. Now, if you're ready for the 2025 NFL Draft, just get down in the comment section for me, ladies and gentlemen. Give me a who dat. Who dat? Who dat? Who dat saying they're ready for the 2025 NFL Draft? Get down in the comment section. We're going to be live here in just a few hours. I cannot wait to see you guys. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to turn on your notifications. Me and Loco Lopez are going to be live. I mean, what, brother? For probably, 20, 30 hours or the next 3-4 days. It's going to be ridiculous. We're going to be live a lot. So be sure to subscribe, tune in, and y'all stay golden. We'll see you at draft day.